Brown joining us now. It is a hot one out there, Caroline.
It is so hot. And I'll tell you what, I feel like we haven't really been acclimatized properly.
Okay, good word.
We were so wet in July that we haven't seen a lot of 90s.
Right.
It's been a minute.
It
so
has.
when you step outside, it feels icky. I mean, come take a look at this. Not only is it hot, but we've got a lot of humidity out there. And because of this, we've got the cloud cover. A live look from our Empower Pharmacy camera. You can see downtown, but showers certainly possible as we head into the afternoon. Right now, across the board, we're on the warm side. Across the metro, 88 in Spring, 90 in Houston. Look at Bel Air, 93 area. Some places already into the lower 90s, 91 in Katy, 91 in College Station. Factor in that humidity, feeling just a little bit worse. Right now it is 12:05 and it feels like 109 on the island. Up in Pearland feels like 104, Conroe 102. So no heat advisory in place today, but please do listen to your body. Take those precautions. It is dangerously hot out there. Radar not showing a lot of activity, but if you take a closer look out towards Liberty County, this is where we do have a few light rain showers impacting Highway 90, Liberty up to Hardin. If we put this in motion, you can see not moving a tremendous amount. So we will continue to monitor this for any street flooding potential. But right now, nothing more than just a few moderate showers. As we go through the next several hours, it is possible to see a few more pop-ups, but it's really hit or miss. We're saying only a 10 to 20% chance of seeing rainfall. Otherwise, it is all about the heat. High temperatures today, mid-90s, similar to yesterday, 96 to 98 degrees. Factor in that humidity, feeling like 106 degrees. It is hot, it is humid, and Lisa, it's about to get real hazy, but I've got more on that dusty forecast coming up.
All right, Caroline, we'll see you soon for that. Thank you. So Houston threw it up in Northern California. Our thoughts are with them, but that fire just, I don't think any real containment at this point.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's so devastating, especially when you think about the cause.
Yes, all
Makes
of it.
me mad.
I know.
But here in town, I mean, we've
Yes.
kind of reversed. Last year,
Yeah.
we had red flag warnings. We had tons of drought in our area.
Right.
This year is the complete opposite.
Yes.
We are so wet. In fact, we are the wettest we've ever been in recorded history
Oh
for
my
Houston.
goodness. Okay.
Then we continue to have a wet spring. We're having a wet summer. Put it all together, and this is the wettest start to the year. After this, you go back to 2004, and then 1919. So it's not just you. We really have been abnormally wet. And certainly what didn't help is that additional 8 inches of rainfall from Beryl here in Houston. 8.1. Sugar Land saw over 9 inches of rain. That's why we're really stressing. It's kind of nice when it's not raining. It has been such an unprecedented wet year so far. Satellite and radar showing that pattern shift. Last week, we had a stationary front overhead. This week, we've got a high pressure system. This is helping us stay dry. It's also keeping us pretty hot. In fact, you can see that high pressure system is creating a dome. Look at all of these heat alerts in place from Louisiana up through Arkansas, the Mississippi, even over towards Kansas and North Texas. I would not be surprised if we do see those heat advisories extended into the Houston area as we go through the next several days. That's because our heat dome is going to continue to build. This high pressure system, it creates sinking in the atmosphere. That's what prevents a lot of cloud cover and also keeps us extra hot. When you compress air, that tends to heat us up. So that's what we're going to be tracking over the next several days. This means air temperature able to heat up into the mid and upper 90s here in Houston, 96 degrees, feeling anywhere from 108 to 110. What's not helpful, we're also going to start to get really hazy. Take a look at our forecast dust. This is the Saharan dust. We've been tracking this all the way from Africa. It's traveled thousands of miles across the Atlantic. Into the day tomorrow, a thick plume of dust. I would not be surprised if our air quality starts to plummet. Unfortunately, that dust is going to be sticking with us. But some of the benefits do include beautiful sunrises. It also suppresses a lot of our tropical development. But right now, taking a live look outside, you can still see a lot of humidity. Look at how much cloud cover currently in place. We do have the possibility of a few rain showers today, but only about a 20% chance. As we go through the rest of the week, we're going to be drying out and heating up. But it does look like as we look ahead to next week, once again.
But given how much rain we've had all year, yeah, we can take the reprieve.
I haven't shown the pool forecast enough times
I mean,
this
come
summer.
on, right? And the mosquitoes can take a break from reproducing.
Oh, for sure.
Gosh. Thank you, Caroline. All right, so
no such issues. I mean, we do have a few light rain showers, but I'll tell you what, I think anyone who has the rainfall, they're probably enjoying it because it's going to help cool you down. But if you do have rain, consider yourself lucky. Really, it's only been in southern Liberty County that we've seen the rainfall. Highway 90 and 146, the singular shower going from Liberty approaching Hardin very soon. So you should get a brief break from the heat. Otherwise, it is all about the heat. You'll notice as we head into the afternoon, future track showing a few more pop-ups possible. I would not hold your breath for any of these storms, but don't be surprised. A few sprinkles possible, perhaps an isolated thunderstorm. That's not out of the question, but the majority of us, it's just going to be about the heat and the humidity. Right now, temperatures as you head outside, they are toasty. Even though we've got overcast skies, temperatures across the area, upper 80s and the lower 90s. In fact, most of us in the 90s by this point. Currently 91 in Liberty, 91 in Sugar Land, but factor in that humidity, and this is the number that's really going to matter, our heat index number. This is what it feels like outside, anywhere from 102 to 108 in Winnie. Wharton feels like 100. And it is not going to get better as we head into the afternoon. In fact, right now, air temperature around 90. By the heat of the day, we're going to be climbing to 96 degrees, feeling like 106 degrees. I would not be surprised if by the end of the week, we start to see more heat alerts issued because we are expecting these numbers to continue to rise. Feels like numbers at the heat of the day today, most of us less than 108. That's the criteria for a heat advisory being issued. But let me tell you, Lisa, heat advisory or not, it is downright hot out there.
It certainly is. All right, Caroline.
Those stories of people at bars, they'll give their phone to someone to put their number, and then they'll Venmo themselves. I mean, who thinks of that?
Who thinks of that, right?
It is wild.
I know. Don't hand your phone over.
Speaking of wild, the temperatures this month.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually been cooler than normal.
Which is so crazy to think. Most of July was ridiculous.
Most of it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We had heavy rainfall, but temperatures were nice and cool. And then you think the last 2 years, we had the hottest July on record, the second hottest July on record. We'll take a look at this. This was hot. This is what we have been seeing. 100, 97, 98, 99, 98. And then everything flipped. From the last 3.5 weeks, it has just been so wet. And because of this, temperatures were either normal or we're below normal. Throwback to last Thursday, our high temperature was only 78 degrees. That was a nice day. But the thing is, on that day, we saw a tremendous amount of rainfall. In fact, for the month, every single one of these locations, we're well above average. Galveston only sees about 3 inches of rain in July. We've seen nearly 14 inches, so a tremendously wet month, but because of that, we have been a bit cooler. And I think because we've been cooler, it's actually making it feel worse outside right now. We're not acclimatized to it, and now we're starting to see a more typical summertime pattern. This high pressure dome starting to build here in Texas. That's gonna keep us hot. It's also gonna start to keep us much more dry as we go through the rest of the week. So let's talk more about that high pressure dome. You can see it just to our south. Last week, we had a stationary front. This dome will bring with it the possibility of some streamer showers. You can see that clockwise rotation giving us a flow off the Gulf. But everything that's formed, it's really started to dissipate within 5 miles of the coast. The biggest impact is going to be the possibility of heat alerts. Right now, no heat alerts for Southeast Texas, but you can see all the way from Georgia and Florida over towards areas up in Nebraska and South Dakota. We've got widespread heat advisories, excessive heat warnings for Memphis, Dallas under a heat advisory, and I would not be surprised if we start to see that in our area, especially as we go towards the end of the week. We're expecting less cloud cover, a lot of haze in our atmosphere. That means temperatures able to warm into the mid-90s. feeling anywhere from 108 to 110 degrees. Now, we talked about the haze. We're not talking about wildfire smoke from out west. We're actually talking about Saharan dust moving its way in, that thick brown color for tomorrow. That's going to be the dust that's moved all the way here from Africa. Unfortunately, it can lower our air quality. So if you suffer from respiratory illnesses, any sensitive groups, certainly I would recommend exercising indoors both tomorrow and during the day on Thursday. The caveat, it should bring some beautiful sunrises and sunsets. That extended forecast showing dry conditions all the way through Saturday. Once we get into next week, we are going to start to see a slightly wetter pattern, but not quite like what we saw. Raining in the morning.
Raining, not too bad.
Not too bad. I mean,
too bad.
It is still Houston in late July, early August.
August is starting up.
Thursday.
How do we get there?
No idea.
What in the world? All right, thank you, Caroline.
Right now, taking a look from our Houston area Chevy dealer's camera, perhaps a little bit of haze starting to show up in our atmosphere. That's what we're going to be tracking over the next 24 hours. But radar-wise, we are very dry. In fact, over the last month, it's been exceptionally rainy. That's why this is pretty rare to see. I don't usually show you a blank radar, but today, I just think it's the emphasis on the fact that we're no longer wet, we're now dry, and we are hot. Temperatures 95 here in Houston, 94 up in Conroe. Factor in that humidity, feeling really sticky and uncomfortable. Anywhere from 104 to 106 feels like in Conroe. Please be careful if you are working outside. And if you are heading out the door this evening, temperatures going to be steadily falling through the 80s at 8 o'clock, still 86 degrees. At this point, you might start to notice that haze moving into our area, which means air quality could start to plummet. In fact, through the day today, we've been monitoring our air quality very carefully. Earlier today, weren't showing any issues, but right now you can see, especially along the Houston metro area, starting to see more moderate air quality. With the haze moving in, we could see the possibility of unhealthy air quality. So for sensitive groups, folks with respiratory problems, be very careful with the Saharan dust moving in. That's really going to be in our area starting tomorrow, but coming up, I'll have an hour-by-hour look at that dust and, of course, that extended forecast.
All right, thanks, Carol. We're almost in August. The days get so mixed up with me. I'm like, oh my goodness, is it 31st?
It's when the week is split between one month and the next. Like, wait, when's the first? When's the first?
Thursday is the first, but I'll tell you what, July is actually setting records here in Houston because it has been so wet.
Yeah.
With the rainfall, not just for the month of July, fifth wettest, but for the year. Take a look at this rainiest start to the year that we've ever seen in recorded history here in Houston. This year, we've already seen 46.85 inches. Keep in mind, our typical amount of rainfall we see in a year, that's 51 inches. So we're only 5 inches away from what we expect to see for an entire year. Now, don't forget, we did see 9 inches of rain in January. We had a wet spring. We've had a wet summer. With Hurricane Beryl, we saw about 8 inches of rain. So this is why it's number one. But after this, it goes back to 2004 and then 1919. So this has been abnormally wet. And that's why it's kind of nice to enjoy a more typical summertime forecast. You know, we haven't been showing the pool forecast a lot. That's going to be changing. Take a look. We've got a high pressure system to our north. This is creating widespread heat alerts all the way from the Florida Panhandle up into Nebraska and even South Dakota and down towards Dallas. Those are heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. I wouldn't be surprised if this expands into the Houston area, especially as this heat dome continues to build. A high pressure system, it creates a lot of sinking air that heats us up. It also suppresses any cloud development. And because of this, you can expect us to get much more dry and much hotter. Tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-90s. The reason why we're not putting 96, we're forecasting widespread haze. We're going to talk more about that in a bit, but Thursday and Friday, it's just going to be dry and hot. 96 to 98, feeling up to 110. But let's talk more about tomorrow, that widespread haze. This is the dust we've been tracking as it's traveled thousands of miles across the Atlantic, pushing into the Houston area this evening. That means sensitive groups, those who suffer from respiratory problems like asthma. I would recommend exercising indoors tomorrow and Thursday. That thick dust plume likely will be lowering air quality. Thankfully, We're not going to keep it around too long. By Thursday afternoon, that's the first day of August, it should start to mix out of problem.
Right, we'll think about that next month.
That's next month's problem.
On Thursday.
On Thursday.
Thank you, Caroline. All right, it is a hot but beautiful day, the perfect setting for a surprise.
So let's go out to Bush Intercontinental Air.
Don't have any drought out there. We're no longer tracking any flood threats, any severe threats. This is all good things. We don't need any more rain right now, and we don't have any out there. This is a live look from our radar. Pretty fair. That's a 1 hour loop and a current check outside from our Houston area Chevy dealers camera. Not seeing any of that thick haze yet, but it is going to be possible as we head into this evening. Otherwise, if you are heading outside, it is hot out there. Temperatures in the mid 90s, 93 in Liberty, 95 here in Houston. Factor in the humidity, and we're feeling anywhere from 104 here in Houston. Liberty feels like 113, so please be careful. No heat advisory in place yet. Certainly possible later on this week. This evening, as we go into the night, still warm at 10 o'clock, 82, feeling like 89. Now, we keep talking about the dust. I want to show you what this looks like. Right now, we've got a major plume on the western side of the Gulf. That's moving in, which means by tomorrow afternoon, we're certainly going to start to see some heavy dust in play. It'll start to clear out by Thursday. So really just going to be tomorrow. And this is the same dust that's traveling across from Africa. So here's a few facts about the dust. A con, it reduces air quality. Some pros, it limits tropical development. That's great. It also creates vibrant sunrises and sunsets. It also helps our marine ecosystems, but we actually blogged about this, so check out click2houston.com if you want to know more about that, ladies.
All right, thanks, Caroline. Forecast.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, we are a lot hotter than we've been pretty much all month.
Yeah.
I mean, we started off hot, but then we were so wet that every single day, we didn't realize we were spoiled because the mosquitoes and the humidity, but our temperatures, they actually were really cool. Trend, usually when we show these maps, at least since I've been here, I came fall of 21, every single month. I'm showing you this and I'm saying, look, nearly every day above average or record. Well, not this month. This month, we're actually over a degree below normal. Now, the first week was hot, but the rest of this, it's actually been pretty manageable for Southeast Texas in July. Of course, the reason why is because we have seen so much rainfall. Galveston, on average, expects to see about 3 inches of rain for the month of July. They've seen nearly 14 inches, so certainly has been a very wet month. But we've got our pattern change. In fact, right now, a high pressure system in northeast Texas that's producing widespread heat alerts. We've got heat advisories in the orange, excessive heat warnings in the pink. This is going to be dominating our forecast really over the next several days through at least Saturday. This high pressure dome is going to continue to build, which means we'll be hot. We'll also start to see less cloud cover in our area. So over the next several days, you'll notice no more rain chances. Temperatures steadily heating up as we approach Friday. But I want to talk a bit more about tomorrow because today we were easily in the mid to upper 90s. Tomorrow, I put a high temperature of 94 degrees. This is because I'm forecasting widespread haze. Take a look at this. A closer view is going to show by tomorrow morning, late tonight, that deep brown color indicating thick dust in our area. That's going to be with us through the day on Wednesday. That means low air quality. Even Thursday, it'll start to clear from the coast to the north. It's not going to be until Thursday evening. Things will start to get better. And then by the weekend, much better. But through the day tomorrow, we're going to be watching our air quality. It could start deteriorating. You can already see down towards Corpus right now, moderate air quality. Same with us here in Houston. Tomorrow, would not be surprised if that map is red. So if you suffer from respiratory problems like asthma,
That's it.
is it going to be in August or in August? I hope
I thought you said it was going to be in August yesterday. I hope that it sticks that way.
It is still August, so it's going to, but it looks dry to start. So I think that's great.
Okay, I like
I don't
that.
trust August.
excited.
I don't trust August as far as I can throw
the
it.
tropics,
But
the
we'll see.
heat. Ooh.
I know. Thank you, Caroline.